Welcome into Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside Jerel Hendricks. We've got a great interview today, a very special guest, the head coach of the Hampton County Hurricanes, Rob Hanna. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we appreciate your time. We know you're busy with prep work, so it means a lot that you're willing to hop on here with us. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, please check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. at Movin Chains, MOVINCHAINS, website movinchains.com, podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Coach Hanna is in his first season as the head coach of the Hampton County Hurricanes. He was the Wade Hampton head coach the 2 years prior to that. They are 12-1 on the season, finished first in Region 6-2A. Coach, let's start there and talk about kind of maybe your background. How did you get to where you are now as the head coach of the Hurricanes?
You know, when I got into football back in 2008, 2009, I knew a lot of football, but I never played in high school. And I always coached track in high school, and I did some volleyball and some other sports, and actually played college golf. And the AD and head coach at the time brought me on staff, and after 1 year said, you're a great teacher of the game. And I've always believed that coaching is an extension of teaching. If you're a good teacher in the classroom, you're going to be a great coach. And I've taken that to heart my whole life. And I had some great head coaches I worked under, and learned the ropes through them, and some other ADs as well, and just helped me get to where I am. I give a lot of credit to Matt Fligg and Jerry Brown, who were at Wade Hampton for 6 years combined, for kind of turning me into the coach that I was. Matt believed in me to make me an offensive coordinator and help him with the play calling and diving a little deeper than just being a position coach. And then Jerry Brown, after 1 year, he earned the trust of me, where he kind of turned over a coordinator spot to me and made me assistant head coach and helped me to make a lot of decisions. And it wasn't until I worked for him I wanted to become a head coach. I was content being an assistant coach. I've never needed to be in the spotlight, and but working for him, just learning how he did things and how detail oriented it was, I realized I was kind of a lot like him in ways, but more new school. And when he left, I decided, why not take a shot, here at Wade Hampton, and was blessed with the opportunity to have that presented to me, and feel like I did a really good job at Hampton here for 2 years, and had a great support staff with my assistant coaches, a great group of players that bought into the vision I had. And I think that vision and that work ethic that we brought is what helped me get the job last January. And this year I've had a phenomenal group of kids buying into that same vision back in January, and we're just keeping it rolling. We're hoping for 2 more weeks.
Coach, you've had a heck of a first year with that program, hitting a heck of a standard there. Your first year getting to the lower state championship. What was it like consolidating the two schools in Wade Hampton and Estill, and bringing that community together? Maybe what were some challenges in doing so as well?
Yeah, I'll tell you. When I was named coach back in January, there were some Estill people that weren't too happy, and there might even been some Hampton people that weren't too happy, and there was definitely a lot of community members that didn't want the merge to happen. They were fine with Estill staying Estill and Hampton staying Hampton. But, the higher beings, the superintendent and the school board, they knew that for our district to move forward and to get new school buildings and the money from the state, that the merge had to take place. We were just spending way too much money keeping two buildings open, 2 staffs, teachers, bus drivers, coaches, all that. So the consolidation happened this year, and I think it's a great thing for our community. Our industry in Hampton has really gone down over the last 15 years, and there's really not your new families moving here. And I think the only way to stimulate some growth in our community is this new school. And, I think this new school and this merge is giving our community hope. My proudest thing for this team this year is what we've done to bring this community together, because we started this journey back in January, and we had a closed door meeting, and some things were said in there about how everyone felt and what needed to be done to really get to the moment we are right now. And there was a lot of naysayers that didn't believe in it, and wanted to find anything they could to try to break that. Our team, we talk about brotherhood, break that brotherhood apart. And since the season started with a good year and good start, a lot of those outside noises have really dwindled down. And our Hampton community, Hampton, Estill, Early Branch, Yemassee, Brunson, they support our athletics so well. We've had pack stands everywhere we've gone, and you don't hear so much of that negativity anymore. You hear a lot more with what we've done on the football field, saying, "Hey, maybe this merge was a good idea. Look what we're doing in athletics."
Winning certainly cures a lot of things, doesn't it,
Sure
Coach?
does.
Looking back to last week, round 3, you guys took down Andrew Jackson 37-21. What did you guys do well in that ball game? Let you come away with the big win there?
Well, we had a great game plan, and we take pride in being a physical team. And we got up to a pretty early start. We got up first 2 possessions. I think we scored in 4 plays. Zion broke about a 20-yard run for a touchdown, and then the next series they went 3 and out and punted at us. And we put together a 91-yard drive. And then the next series, they drove it down the field on us, and we intercepted them in the end zone, returned it all the way to the 5, and settled for a field goal, which was a little disappointing, but at the same time was a big field goal to get it up 3 possessions. And we really just dominated in the trenches from that point forward until about the last 8 minutes. We were up 23-0, 8 minutes to go, and they finally found something and put together a drive and scored and tried an onside kick. And I think we scored about 3 plays after the onside kick, and we kind of just exchanged touchdowns the last few minutes. But a great group of kids that bought into the game plan, and they did a good job. They had a good game plan on defense of bottling up Zion, and we had a couple of receivers had to make a few key catches, and Chris Terry, our quarterback, made some great reads and kept the ball when he needed to and moved the chains. And eventually Zion was able to get loose, and I think they got tired of tackling him, and we wore them down. And both teams were exhausted. We were exhausted too. It was 2 really good teams battling it out. They're a well-coached team, and we knew that. They were in that game last year and made it to lower state last year, so they had a lot more experience than us. But I just think setting the tone early up front, with our physicality on offense and defense, and rushing the passer was the difference in the game.
For the listeners and viewers that haven't seen your team play, including us, we have not been able to see you guys in person. What types of schemes are you running on the offense and defensive sides of the ball, and do you call plays, for either side?
Yeah, so I believe, I'm an offensive guy. I've been a defensive coordinator over the years, but I believe even though I'm an offensive guy, I want my best 11 on defense, and we're going to run the ball. And so we've got a very gap sound defense on defense, but we are very aggressive up front. We like to create negative plays, tackles for losses, sacks, incompletions, things like that to get the team behind the chains. And when we get them in second and third and long situations, that's when we're at our best because we have a great pass rush. And we line up the exact same every time, whether we're in cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, whatever it is, we're line up and disguise what we're doing and do a great job of bringing that. Offensively, we're a power running team, but we do it out of the spread. We're going to run a lot of power counter sweep, quick game passing, and a lot of our passing is off that power running game. We'll set up play action. I do call the offense. It's an offense I learned under Matt Fliggs, probably 8-9 years ago now. And I have some of Jerry Brown's philosophies in teaching, but I've hired a couple of great coaches this year that helped me with the offense. Chris Knight came over from South Aiken, and Chris Myers was a head coach at the private school level. He was a triple option guy, and we've added some of their wrinkles to the offense. And it's been a good year. We've had a dominant defense. I think we're the number 2 defense in the state behind Oceanside. We were number 1 until I think maybe last week. And offensively, we're a top 2 or 3 in the state as well. And it's like one hand washes the other. The defense gets the ball back to the offense so quickly that we have, chances to score. And then, the offense puts enough on the board where I don't want to say that the team gives up, but, may change their game script. And, it's worked well this year for sure.
You guys are playing great on both sides, of course. Who are some of the guys that are having a great season for you guys?
Yeah, it starts with Zion Dobson on offense. He's our bell cow. 4 years ago, he was a slot receiver. And my first year coach, halfway through the season, we moved him to running back because he gives us a little more speed there. He was tiny. But now, here we are 2.5 years later. He's a very physical. He's 5'10", 173, but he looks and runs apart. He's worked on his speed in the offseason and track, running that for, 6 years now. And this year really putting it together. And he's a kid early in the year. We were only given 10 to 14 touches a game. And then I think it was about the Barnwell game, our last game of the year. I said, we've kept him fresh. He's 9 games in and only has 120 something carries. I said, we need to, he's now getting 20, 25 carries a game. And it starts with him up front in the O-line. I mean, we're very fortunate. We've got some big guys up front that do a good job dominating other teams' defensive lines and getting that extra guy in the box. And then we can hit him over the top with some of our receivers. We got a lot of speed on the outside. We've got athletes at all 4 receiver positions that I feel in any given night are better than the guy they're going to line up against. And then on defense, it starts with Kayvon Chisholm. He's a D1 prospect we have that came over from Estill. He's one of our 12 Estill guys. He plays H-back as well on offense, but he sets the tone on defense. And Mandrell Sanders, who's a junior, he's probably our top 25 guy at outside linebacker, gets a lot of negative plays in the backfield and just very aggressive and fast. And so them coming off the 2 edges really helps.
Got the announcement a few weeks ago that Zion was going to be a Mr. Football finalist. What kind of boost did that provide your team, and did it give extra juice, to the program and community, going into the stretch run there?
Yeah, I know when he got announced for that, I had a team meeting and I congratulated him on the award, but I wanted to congratulate the coaches and the team on the award because I feel like that's a team award. Zion doesn't get that without, the scout defense giving him a look, the offensive line paving the way, the quarterback getting all the right checks, the receivers blocking on the perimeter, the defense getting the ball back, the coaches calling the plays. So I took pride as a coach. In Hampton County, we've never had a player up for an award like that, and for him to be named one of 5 finalists, I was happy for him. And I knew when I nominated him, he'd have a chance because he's such a great student. I know Mr. Football is all about football and academics and community service, and he excels in all 3 of those. And I'm happy for him and his family and our team because I feel like it's everyone can celebrate that award.
Both Wade Hampton and Estill, had solid seasons last year, had a good bit of talent, it felt like. Did you see this type of run coming when the 2 schools, combined, or was there some worry about getting kids to jail and kind of things on that side?
So the whole concern was the gelling part. Wade Hampton last year, we had a good team, but we only had 6 offensive linemen. And, we go against teams, and all 6 of the offensive linemen were playing defense, and we just get wore out. We graduated all but one of those O-linemen. Sorry, 2 of those O-linemen, I guess. And Estill, all our skill positions returned, a quarterback, running back, all our receivers. And Estill, they had the linemen. They had a lineman plus some added skill positions and linebackers. And so I knew there's talent up front. The buy-in was the concern, but I was very fortunate that January last year, the superintendent let me, from my weight class, bus 20 Estill boys to Wade Hampton in the spring. And we put 28 Wade Hampton boys in there. That's basically this year's football team minus some kids. And we started in January with bringing those kids together. And my strength coach, who's my defense coordinator, him and I, we had multiple meetings and just kind of had a plan and a vision we wrote down. And it started with just doing little things in there. We made accountability teams where they had to trust each other and rely on each other. And we had to have so many Hampton and Estill guys on each team. And, just things like that. We did community service projects together, and we started practicing in February once a week. And then we got to March and April, and we're doing 2 days a week. And just got the whole process rolling. And, those guys, they love each other. And that's the thing. They've always loved and respected each other, even though they're competitors. It's been the communities that haven't supported it. Hampton community, well, you can't be friends with that Estill kid. They're from Estill. We're crosstown rivals. So I saw the talent, and I saw of course, everyone did, but it's still, you gotta put that talent, you gotta put the structure in, and the the commitment, the sacrifice. You gotta have discipline, and we put all that together and making the run we have. And it not, I tell people all the time this story. It's not everything's been rainbows and butterflies. That we've had our rough moments, and we've had moments where, as a coach, I didn't know, 4 days into camp, I didn't know if it was going to work. We weren't practicing to the standard that I like to practice to. And, I had to talk to my coaches and say, hey, we got to hold them accountable. If they don't play. And that's one thing I try to do is I try to set the standard and then live by the standard. If a kid misses practice, sorry, you're not starting. You miss 2 practices, you're not dressing. And, last week we had a kid on game day getting a little bit of trouble in school, and he's a starter on defense, and he sat Friday night. And our first round playoff game, we had a kid, violate team rules, and he sat for the playoff game. So I feel by holding kids accountable day in and day out, it helps them, I guess, develop the mentality to do right. And when they do right, they have a better chance to be successful on the field.
Coach, we've talked about the players and the community coming together, but you also had to assemble a staff there. What was that process like? Were you able to pull some guys from Estill? Did you keep your staff intact from Wade Hampton, or, reach to some outside sources as well?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. I immediately day one reached out to all the Estill coaches and interviewed them and offered them a job. And I actually didn't have any buy-in from them until the week before camp this year. So I kind of started assembling a staff, and I had a few guys from my Wade Hampton staff that I needed to replace. And so I advertised some jobs, and I was able to get Chris Myers right away as an OC from John Paul II in Bluffton. And he's been at Hampton County and Dorchester Academy, and he came on board. And then Chris Knight and I, we've known each other for a few years. I almost hired him last year when we were Wade Hampton, and reached out to him. He was going to West Ashley, and my baseball coach left to go to Barnwell, which is where he's from. And he was kind of my right-hand man. He was my special teams coordinator. equipment guy, my offensive mind. And I reached out to Chris and said, hey, I got a head baseball and football coordinator. Are you interested? And he's like, I am. Can I teach PE? West Ashley wasn't going to let him teach PE. So our district was able to put him in the PE classroom half a day. And he came on. And then, when he came, I reached out to his dad because I don't have any older guys on staff. I'm the oldest guy at 43 years old. And I've never had that old guy that I can bounce ideas off for experience. And even though I'm 43, I feel like I'm a young coach, and especially being a third-year head coach. And I said, do you mind coming on Fridays and being in the press box? And he goes, well, Coach, I might want to be more involved in that. So he ended up coming on full-time. And then I ended up getting the Estill coach committed the week before the season. And one of our middle school coaches came on board. So it's a little bit of everything. I got a great staff, got, 11 guys, one's a volunteer, and they show up every day and put the work in just like the players, and very thankful to have them. Really am.
Coach, lower state championship this week against Oceanside Collegiate. Tough matchup, of course. What challenges did Lane Sharks present as you kind of, prepare for that ball game this Friday night?
Yeah, they're a well-coached team. We I don't know if you know, we played them last year, second round of playoffs at Wade Hampton, and we went in that game, felt like we had a chance to compete, and we blinked. It was 28-0. And when I say blinked, it was about 9 minutes in the game. It was 28-0. And we fought back. We ended up scoring 28 on them that game, but we lost 70-28. As fast as we scored, they went so fast down the field. So I know that they can go tempo, and that's something we prepared all week in practice. I like our shot better this week. We are so much bigger up front. I got multiple 300-pound guys in the O-line that match up better than my 190-pound center I had last year and 205-pound guards. So, but they're big up front. They're physical. They're very, very well coached. We like to run the power and counter, and they're very good at defense on spilling those outside, but taking away those down blocks and don't allow you to kick them out. Offensively, they do a good job of running the football first, and they're very multiple in passing. If you shut down the run, they're able to pass, but it starts with the run. We got to shut down the run on defense, and we got to be able to run the ball on offense to have a shot. And I like our chances. We match up pretty well with them on paper, and now they got experience. None of my kids have played in the game this big before, and they have. But I like my kids. I like my dogs in any fight. That's for sure.
I just want to talk about also the atmosphere down there. Kevin and I were very, very close to coming down to that Woodland game.
I wish you would have.
We're glad we did it, because for us who don't have a dog in the fight, that would have not been a football game that we wanted to see. But what's that been like? What's a typical Friday night? I don't think you're playing there again this year, but
no,
how is it
we're
like
not,
this year?
Unfortunately, it's a good atmosphere. Our stadium is unlike anything in South Carolina. You're right on top of the field. It's an old school stadium, but it's been renovated, but your sideline is 8 feet from the bleachers, and right there. There's no room, so you hear everything in the stands, and it's a good size. We had about 1,500 people in the stadium Friday night for third round, and it was a good atmosphere. But people show up. They like to come watch their Friday night football, and they support all sports, not just football. But that Woodland game, I wish you would have came to. It was a special show. Our kids were very amped up. We were on TV that week, and we kind of figured that was for the region title. We thought Woodland was the second best team in region behind us. Ended up being Barnwell, but we played a perfect game. I mean, we ran the ball, threw the ball. I think Woodland had 23 yards of offense that night. We had 523. Zion, he had 17 attempts for 275 yards and 5 touchdowns, all in the first half. Didn't play second half. We were just, I told our team, if we play like that, we have a chance to beat anyone in the state. And it really was. I lost to Brooklyn Casey. We lost to Brooklyn Casey in a game we felt we could win. We were missing 3 O-linemen that night, and our goal was, because we're missing 3 O-linemen, to shorten the game. 6 minutes to go in that game, it was 14-14. And they had a 3rd and 7 where we got a pass interference and a personal foul on the same play, and they scored the next play. And then we went 3 and out, 2 minutes left, and they scored again. And so I think that game, if we're healthy, could have went another way. But that game was a good loss. It refocused us. The next week, I put the boys on a bus from 1978 to drive to Ridgeland. And I said, you lose, this is the bus you ride on. And I went to Ridgeland and had a perfect night there. And I think we won 56-14. And I told the boys after the game, Coach Paul and I on the bus ride home, said, if you guys buy in, because we hadn't been practicing great to that point, that if you guys buy in, we can go win a state championship. And I think it's there now. Since then, we've played phenomenal football. Pretty well every team we played, we've I don't want to say blowing out, but we beat comfortably. And it's like that team just refocused there. And, that was the start of our region play. So, we played good. We got a shot. That's for sure.
Take your financial game to the next level with Founders Federal Credit Union. Reach your full potential. Relax. Join Founders today. Visit an office near you or relaxjoinfounders.com to apply. Federally insured by NCUA, member qualification required.
Well, Coach, got a couple easier ones here before we let you go.
All right.
As you load up on Friday heading down to Oceanside Collegiate, what's going to be on that pregame playlist to get you ready for the big matchup?
I leave that to my coaches. I don't know what they play. Coach Paul, and he's in charge of music, but I'm sure he'll have something on there. But, our walkout song is Thunderstruck from AC/DC. That's what we walked. We have the Hurricane walk through our stadium. So we play a Hurricane siren and then walk out to Thunderstruck, or run out to Thunderstruck.
Kevin and I are big foodies, so we have to ask every coach, what are some of the best restaurants down in that Hampton County area, because we missed out not coming to that Woodland game.
Yeah, well, Hampton isn't known for its restaurants. I'll tell you what, I just bought the team fried chicken and mac and cheese from Food Line, and it was darn good for lunch today. But our number one spot is Rigdon's Fried Chicken. It's a little hole-in-the-wall place. I send everyone to, Wes Kerr and Justin Jarrett from Loco Sports, and they come into town. That's where they go. Hurricane Sports Cafe is a new sports bar that just opened up and got great food. They fed us lunch yesterday after practice, and MVP Sports Lounge is another little sports bar. And then we have a Mexican restaurant in town that's pretty darn good too. But if I had to go eat at one spot, it'd be Rigdon's Chicken or Hurricane Sports Cafe for sure.
Sign us up.
Because, we've said multiple times in this interview, this is, the first year of the Hampton County program. Did you have any say in as far as the mascot and then the color scheme? Because you guys, you nailed it. Great mascot. The uniforms look great. Who came up with that side of things?
So back when we when we merged, if we put together a branding committee, which I was one of the head people on it, and we came up with different school names, which we put out to the community for a vote. And then we did mascot. And then we let the community design the mascot. So our actually logo, this hurricane, which kind of people say it looks like a tornado or whatnot, but it is designed by a former Estill grad. He did a great job with it. And but everything was picked by the community. Now, I will tell you, everything that was picked was my number one preference. And I don't want to say I brainwashed kids in the schools, but, when it was choice between the Carolina blue and the royal blue versus the silver and black, I'm like, oh, I don't think silver and black's it, guys. Allendale's black. And, a lot of people want us to be the Eagles. I'm like, well, you got the Buford Eagles. And Hawks was another one. And I think it's original being the Hurricanes. At the time, Wren was the only school in the state that's the Hurricanes. Hardyville has now separated from Ridgeland, and they're going to be the Hurricanes again, which they used to be back in the day. And then uniforms, as an athletic director, it was fun, but it was a lot of work, having to put 23 teams in new uniforms. So I let all the head coaches do the designing, and I'd approve it. And we spent a lot of money on uniforms. And I always said we should have put either red and Estill's gold or yellow into the logo, because all our practice uniforms and our whole schools had to be repainted. The only thing they haven't done is the gym. They're adamant to keep both school gyms, the old gyms, because of the history in them. So, with us playing our basketball games this year, we're going to play half at each school's gym. One will be at Estill gym, and our gym has Wade Hampton Red Devils still on the floor. But it's pretty fun. And our football uniforms, I think they turned out phenomenal. The color scheme, I was hesitant to go with the Carolina blue helmet, and I got talked into it by one of my reps. I'm glad I did. And Coach Paul and I did the football uniforms, and I love our away uniforms, our white, which we'll wear this week. We're not going to wear white pants. We haven't had the best of luck wearing the white pants this year, so we're going to wear the blue pants this Friday with the white jerseys.
Coach, it's been an absolutely special season. What's been the most memorable moment that you've been able to share with your team this year?
Oh man, it's been such a roller coaster ride. It's been an awesome ride. I don't want it to end, but the whole season's been memorable. But I think my favorite memory every year as a coach is we do camp in our gym. We bring the kids in the first day, and Mama drops them off with an air mattress and a pillow, and picks them up 4 days later. And that time spending with those kids for those 3 nights, and we end it. We do something fun. This year we went to a water park and had some fun. And then during our bye week, I took the boys to try to surprise them, but they knew it was coming. Took them to Top Golf for a couple hours.
Love it.
So those things outside of football are probably my favorite memories, because I'm a believer that the game will come and go, but the memories and the relationships you make is what last a lifetime. So, me getting to know these kids and the memories I'm making, that's my favorite memory.
Well, this has been great. I definitely everyone to go check out Coach Hanna and the Hurricanes program on Twitter and Facebook. They do a great job posting updates and highlights of their kids. Definitely check them out on there. Like I mentioned, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. at Movin Chains, movinchains.com. Podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Movin The Chains brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Joe, anything else for Coach? We'll let him go today.
Coach, best of luck to you, this upcoming Friday. This is a special moment for you guys. Had a special season. I know you mentioned the roller coaster ride, but here you are. It's Thanksgiving week you're playing. It's brown grass season, so that's outstanding. So wish you continued success, stay healthy, and go get them on Friday.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on and everything you guys do for high school sports.
We appreciate it, Coach. Look forward to meeting you in person here soon, and best of luck, all right?
All right, take care, guys.